What is up, everyone? Kaz here, and today we are going to be testing out Yeonhwa, the brand new Wind String Master. Now, I've looked over the skills of all of the new monsters, and of all of the elemental string masters, I feel like Yeonhwa has probably the most useful skill set. So let's jump right in and take a look at her skills. So for skill 1, she attacks the enemy to have a chance to land Lancing Hit for 2 turns with a 50% chance. Fully skilled up, looks like that goes up to 75%. On her skill 2, she plays a song that decreases the HP of the enemy that it gets a turn by 5% each, which is an extra dot basically, and decreases the attack power for 1 turn with a 50% chance until the next turn starts. You cannot attack together or counterattack while playing song. So basically the way that works is that while she has her skill 2 activated, every enemy that attacks is going to receive a dot's worth of damage, and before that enemy takes their turn, they're going to get attack broken, and that attack break is going to last until they complete their second turn after that. And so, this is going to be very key for a few areas of the game. And her passive uses her skill 2 when she's attacked while she's not playing the song, so she's not going to waste it if she's already got the song up. And while the song is up, the damage that she receives is going to be decreased by 30%. And this goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. Her second skill goes down to a 2-turn cooldown, so there's a lot of potential to have a lot of uptime on Yeonhwa's skill 2. And then her leader skill is 40% in guild content. Honestly, I don't see her really being used a whole lot in guild content, so the passive's kind of worthless. But I do see some areas where she is going to have a lot of use, and I think for some people who don't already have solid teams for different areas of game content, she could potentially be game-changing for them. Now for her runes, there's a couple different ways to rune her. The way I've got her built is Despair Will, because I'm primarily going to be using her in TOA as well as in Lab. Now in TOA, I have her on Despair so that she can have the extra chance to stun the enemy when she attacks when she's not using her skill 2. And we also want her to be spreading the Glancing Hit all around as well, so she's going to need high accuracy. The other way to rune her, and we will get into this a little bit later, is going to be on Swift. But for a utility build on PvE content, what you want is a decent amount of speed so that she's not going to get outsped by the enemies outside of the speed limit stage in the Labyrinth, which is why I have her on Will, is because I don't want her to get crowd controlled before she gets her skill 2 up. And so I have her on just a spare set of runes that I had lying around, but you're going to want her really tanky, high HP, high defense, because you want that high effective HP. And then you're going to want to build her with sufficient accuracy and resistance to be able to land her debuffs. Now for the 2, 4, 6 slot, depending on your rune quality and the substats, you can go speed, HP, and defense, or you could go HP, defense with speed substats, but the bottom line is you're going to want a good effective HP on her. Alright, so here we are at the Artemil floor, this rotation, and I'm going to show you why I think she's so good. So with my TOA team setup, I have Beretta as the lead for dots, stuns, and turn denial. I have Charlotte to give me some extra turns, deny enemy turns, and offer AoE stuns. And then I have Jean, who was going to be offering AoE provokes, and I have her on Vio, so we're going to have hopefully 100% uptime on that provoke. And then I have Delphoy in the mix, and she's going to be my source of cleanse and healing. And then her second skill is going to reduce the cooldown in the event that a boss does not want to have his attack bar reduced. And so that kind of gives a little bit of an extra buffer so that the enemy's always going to be using skill 1. Now, Yeonhwa here is going to be the glue that kind of holds this entire team together, and she's going to be the fail-safe for this team. And so when the enemy finally does get a turn, or if I'm unlucky enough to not crowd control a monster, Yeonhwa's skill 2 is going to apply attack break before the enemy attacks, and so that anyone they attack is going to be taking a lot less damage. And additionally, they're going to be taking an extra dot's worth of damage. So it's just like having an extra dot on there anytime she has that up. And you don't have to worry about whether or not your dot is going to land. Now, one really cool thing to note is that her skill 2 works on bosses. So while dots don't work on bosses, her skill 2 does work. And so she's going to have a passive dot that's going to be activated on any enemy that gets an attack or any boss that gets an attack, as well as providing that attack break. And so she's really going to be that fail-safe just in case RNGesus decides to really screw you and everything that you try to land fails. She's going to make sure that your team's going to survive to be able to regroup and to be able to clear the stage effectively. Now, another place Yeonhwa is going to be good is going to be in the Labyrinth, especially in the rescue stage. Now, in the rescue stage, you've got either Shannon, Lucia, or Colleen that you're going to have to protect, and their 3 HP isn't going to go very long, especially if you're playing in Hell mode. And so it's very important that you keep her alive. And so the team that I have here is I have Jean for AoE Provokes to make sure that no one's going to attack the monster I'm trying to rescue. I've got 2 sources of AoE CC in my Fire Twins, and if all of that fails, I've got Yeonhwa here, who's going to be attack breaking anyone who takes a turn, and that's going to be especially useful to make sure that my monster, in this case Shannon, is not going to die. And so this is going to help you to be able to clear stages a lot more efficiently. Now, the last area that I see her being very strong in is going to be in Arena Rush Hour defense for a deterrent. And for this, you want to set her up with a fast swift set so that she gets the first turn right after the AoE stripper. And so you want to use a speed lead so that she's as fast as possible, and the idea here is to set up her skill 2 before the enemy takes their turn. And then how it's going to play out is that your stripper is going to remove the will runes, Yeonhwa is going to set up her skill 2, and then you can rune a third member to be much slower on triple nemesis so that they're going to cut in and they're going to do a big heal. So that way when you get attacked, like for example, if someone attacks you with a Fat Lucian, for example, any will runes that they have is going to be stripped off, and then when that Lucian tries to attack you, there's a very strong chance that Yeonhwa is going to apply attack break to that Lucian, which is going to make it much more risky to try to speed clear some of these compositions. Now, there's always a way around it, but during rush hour, the idea is that you want to be clearing defenses as quickly as possible, and I think this is going to be a deterrent for that. Another really cool feature about this is because this isn't a buff that Yeonhwa puts on. If her skill 2 is activated, it can't be stripped, so even a Tiana is not going to be able to stop Yeonhwa's skill 2. So if you have someone that's attacking with a Tiana Galleon Cleave team, there's a very good chance that the attack break is going to be applied to the damage dealers, and there's not a thing that Tiana is going to be able to do about it. And this is going to make for some very messy, drawn-out fights, and this is going to make it so that people are just going to take a look at your defense, and they're going to be more likely to have a hard pass on it, rather than risk wasting a bunch of time or even losing the fight. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you found this helpful, show me a little love and subscribe and smash that like button for me. I would really appreciate it, and it helps me so much. And if you found another use for her or any of the other new monsters, leave a comment down below so that everyone in the Summoners War community can be helped by this. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.